and welcome back to the Quad Life. Another week means another video. For the last couple of days we've had a blizzard come through, and not the kind you get from Dairy Queen, but the snow and wind and cold type. Thankfully it wasn't too cold, at least yet. The temp was right around 30, so that meant snow was heavy and had a lot of water to it. But at one night that my nurse couldn't come, and a day that caregiver couldn't come too. So plans have not gone as expected, but I'm still here and want to get a video out. Well, I thought the best way to do it for time-wise would be to be here on the computer. And really, this might work easier anyway for the stuff I plan to cover today. So, part of living the quad life is being reliant on national help, federal assistance, such as Medicaid and Social Security, or SSI. Now, those of you who don't live in the U.S., this may not make a lot of sense, but in the U.S., most medical insurance is through an employer. But if you meet certain income requirements and or have a disability, then you can be on state fundings of Medicaid and also receive a monthly allowance through Social Security called SSI. Alright? This is good, and it helps a lot of people. And it's something that I use and receive monthly income that I can use and be able to get some of my needs covered as well. So that's all great and good. However, the limits of it are very stringent and make life difficult, to say the least. So, such as for me, as an individual that's not married, my limits that I can have to my name and still be able to receive SSI and Medicaid are $2,000. So I cannot go beyond that amount with any type of savings or anything in my checking or anything of the sort. So this is okay, but if you have anything such as an emergency comes up, then you can't really have any savings for it. And one of the biggest problems is that if you work or want to work at all, then this makes it very difficult to do so. So if you worked, let's say 40 hours a week and 4 weeks a month, that is 160 hours a month. So if you did that and you take 2,000 divided by 160, that means you could earn $12.50 an hour, which right now that's a really low wage. However, if you earn $2,000 a month, that would mean that at the end of every month, your bank accounts and everything will need to be absolutely wiped out and be at zero. Because if you go even 1 cent over the $2,000, then you lose everything. So let's say you want to have it as a maximum of $1,500 a month that you earn. So let's take that 1,500 divided by the same 160 hours, and that translates basically to $9.38 an hour. And today's economy, earning just $9.38 per hour is not much above minimum wage, and really is not much work at all. And again, having the limits of your funding and being able to save anything for emergencies, it really almost makes it so that if you want to work, well, you can't do so and still get Medicaid and SSI. Now, there are different ways that you can get around this somewhat, and if there's interest, please let me know below, and I can go over that, different wage earnings and how much you can earn per month and what you get and all that kind of thing. I have gone over that somewhat in the past, but I can give more detail now. So, in other words, we need to have a way that this improves. And for me especially, I look to 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 10. For even when we were with you, we commanded you this: if anyone will not work, neither shall he eat. Well, there are legitimate reasons that a person is completely unable to work. However, as I've said before on this channel, that just because I can't move below my shoulders, breathe on my own, or feel anything, that's no excuse to not be working. So, therefore, I try to do as much as I can. However, say that gets difficult for some of us. Therefore, it'd be great if SSI and Medicaid would receive an upgrade. Well, thankfully, that is now a possibility. So this is from thinkadvisor.com is where I'm reading this, but as we see right here is what I looked at. As it stands now, the limits for individuals are $2,000 for me as single and $3,000 for married couples. And the SSI savings elimination or savings assets were put in place in the 1980s, or 40 years ago. And, well, things have changed in 40 years, to say the least. Cost of living and all that kind of thing. So, a few senators here have introduced legislation back in 2022, actually, that would raise the caps on the SSI of how much we can have. Moving down here, it would be raised up to $10,000 for a person like me. And as I said, it has not been changed since 1984. So 40 years now since we're now in 2024. So raising it up to $10,000 for an individual and $20,000 for married couples would be a huge boost. So let's go back here to our sheet. So right now, limit at $2,000, and if you had about $1,500 per month that you want to put in and completely out of your account, allows you to earn about $9.38 an hour. So let's now compare what that would be if we had 10,000 for our allowance. And again, I'm going to take that down to, let's go with 9,000, keep numbers a little bit more even. And again, in this scenario now, if you're moving $9,000 in and out of your account every month, that's going to be a lot to be messing around with, especially if you're like me and only used to very smaller limits. But let's go with the most and see what the new numbers are. So remember, as we said, working full-time, 40 hours a week, 4 weeks of the year, I'm using for my average, is 160 hours. So if we take 9,000 and divide by 160, that is a wage of $56.25 an hour. So that obviously is a lot more than $9.38 per hour. So this would allow people with disabilities like myself to really get much of any jobs out there. Again, maybe not the higher paying ones for some industries, like say lawyer or that kind of thing. But if you're earning that much per hour or that much per year anyway, you may not need to be concerned about SSI and Medicaid anyway. So raising these limits would be a big boost for people with disabilities in the U.S. and really free up more people to be able to go to work that, like me, would like to, but just really are hampered because of the limits put in place. So, again, why hasn't it been enacted? This seems like a no-brainer, correct? Well, that's U.S. government for you, unfortunately. I have contacted both my senators here in Iowa, and there's been a push in some programs. There are some lists that I follow that have said to do the same with, any state that someone lives in, to contact their representatives and say to push this bill and that it would be very good to pass. But unfortunately, it has received very little interest. And some of the responses that I have had myself and I've heard from others is that, oh, yeah, it would raise the limits to what I just showed you and just say what it does. And that if it comes up further, then we'll maybe look at it. Well, so yeah, they don't really care about it too much. So if you are here in the U.S. And watching this, I would encourage you to write your congressman, especially now that we're in 2024, an election year again, that, these are things that people may look at. And this is something that would help a lot of people in different ways, and it really makes sense in all the way around. So, again, this is the upgrade SSI bill, and getting this bill would be very helpful, and that is something I've been working on or looking at here in the Quad Life. So it's a little bit different than what I've done before, and this kind of gives an idea of what's going on. But if you like this, let me know. And as I said, if you want to know more of the details, income limits and current ways that people can work and still get around the limits for Medicaid and SSI, I can go over those as well. But that is it for now. I've gone on long enough, so thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.